What's up everybody, Ryan Hafey with Hafey Digital here, and I am still waking up. Ooh, my hair is getting long. I need a haircut. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a haircut and I'll be right back. Much better. That is a shortcut. And that is a perfect segue into the topic for this video, which is 5 video editing shortcuts for better and faster workflow. So without further ado, let's get into it, because everyone loves a shortcut. Welcome back. So as mentioned, the topic of this video is video editing shortcuts to make your workflow better and faster. These are tips that I honestly wish that I knew earlier in my video editing career, because it would have just taken my workflow to a whole nother level. Now, before we get into it, I do need to make one disclaimer, and that is I am an Adobe guy, so I'm using the Creative Cloud. I'm using Premiere Pro. And just for reference, at the time of this recording, I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro CC 2018. So with that out of the way, let's get into shortcut number 1, which is scaling your footage to the frame size. All right, so let's say you're working with some 4K footage, but you're editing it in a 1920 by 1080 frame size. Now, if you've worked with 4K footage enough, or if you've been in this scenario, you know that you would need to scale 4K footage back to 50% in order for it to fit perfectly into this 1920 by 1080 timeline. So you could drag your footage into the timeline over here, keep existing settings here, and you could select your clip and you could go up to effect controls and you could go to scale and you could type in 50 and you could hit enter and scale it back that way. Or I'll show you a much faster way now, and it's definitely a lot faster if you're working with multiple clips. All right, so all you need to do, select your clip, right click, go up to scale to frame size right here, and boom, your footage is now perfectly scaled to 1920 by 1080. The beauty of this shortcut is that it works for other things as well. So let's say you have an image that you want to scale down to the frame size. You can use this for images. Let's say you're editing a square video. You can also use it to scale down 16 by 9 footage to fit within the frame size of your scale video. All right, now moving on to shortcut number 2, that's cut and ripple trim shortcuts. All right, so let's say that you're working with a really long clip of dialogue, or maybe just a really long B-roll clip, and you want to kind of cut it up a little bit and shrink it down to a more manageable size clip for your final product. Now, you could go into Premiere and you could move your cursor around, grab your cut tool, select your clip, cut your clip where you want it to, move the cursor to where you want the next clip to start, do another cut there, grab your selector tool, select the clip, right click, and go to ripple delete. Or you can do it the easier way. So we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna take the cursor to where you want the first clip to end. You're gonna select those clips and you're gonna hit on your keyboard Control K, or if you're on a Mac, Command K. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna cut the clip right where your cursor was. Now all you have to do is go to where you want the next clip to begin. Let's say right here. Select your clip, and on this time you're gonna hit the Q key on your keyboard. Now what this is gonna do is it's not only gonna cut the clip where your cursor is, but it's also going to move the following clips closer in. So you'd hit Q, boom, and now the next clip has moved in right next to the first clip. All right, shortcut number 3. This is called timeline stacking, pancake timelines. I don't know, different people call it different things, but the concept is pretty simple. So let's say instead of having one long clip that you need to whittle down to a smaller clip, you have a bunch of different clips that you need to kind of pick and choose from to put into your final product. If that's the case, then the last shortcut I showed you won't really work so well with this scenario. So what you can do is you can stack your timeline so that you can kind of visualize your clips in one timeline and then drag the ones that you need down into the final product, and it just kind of makes it easier so that you don't have to open up new timelines and things like that. So what you want to do is you want to go into your project panel, and I like to just copy and paste. So Command or Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V if you're on a Mac. Find that sequence, copy and paste it right into that timeline there, and I'll go ahead and rename it to 1920 by 1082, whatever. And I'm going to open this sequence so that these two are open right next to each other. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the new sequence that I created, and I'm going to kind of drag it. If you click it and drag it around this, you can really go in and place it wherever you want, but for this particular case, we want to go ahead and drag it and let it go right in this area here. Now what it does is it stacks those two timelines right on top of each other. So what you can do, let's say this bottom one here is your final product, and I'm just gonna go ahead and delete those clips in here. What I can do is go to the top one. I can say, maybe I wanna make a cut here, Command K, move it over, make another cut here, Command K, and then all I have to do is I can just drag this down into the timeline below. So it's a quick and easy way to kind of visualize your clips above each other so you can pick and choose what you want and drag it into your final product timeline, basically. All right, moving on to shortcut number 4, and this one is duplicating clips in the timeline. Now you could grab your selector tool, you could click on a clip, you can hit Control C, you can move the cursor over where you want to paste it, you can hit Command or Control V and paste it in there. You could do that. But if you're working with a ton of clips within the sequence, you have to make sure your track targeting is set right, and it can just get a little muddy, and sometimes it just doesn't work the way that you want it to. You have to undo it and redo it again. There is a much simpler way to duplicate clips in the timeline, and all you have to do is click and hold on the clip you want to duplicate, hold the Alt key or the Option key on a Mac, and then drag it over, then let go of the click, let go of the Alt key. And now you can see that in my timeline here, I have these two clips side by side. Now the beauty of this shortcut is that in duplicating those clips, you're also duplicating any effects or anything like that that came along with that clip. And this shortcut can also be used for images, titles, all sorts of other things in your sequence. All right, now we move on to the final shortcut. Shortcut number 5, replacing a clip from source monitor. So this shortcut actually works really well in conjunction with the last shortcut I showed you. Let's assume that you have a clip, and in this clip, you want to feature some images in the top right-hand corner. Let's say you've got 2 images and you want to just kind of fade in, fade out into each other. And you want the images to be the same size and in the same location within the frame. What you can do is you can drag one of your images onto your clip here, maybe shorten it a little bit. And let's say we'll, by the way, this is the thumbnail for the speed ramp transition tutorial I did. Go check it out if you haven't already. I'll click on the motion effect here. I'll size it down. I'll bring it to where I want. Let's say I want it right there. Great. From here, what you can do is you can duplicate the image using shortcut number 4. Hold the Alt key, click and drag the image right next to it, okay? And then I'm gonna open up another clip in the source monitor here. So I'm gonna go in my project panel, I'm gonna get my second image. By the way, this is the thumbnail for the trampoline park vlog I did recently. Also go check that out if you haven't already. And while this image is being previewed in the source monitor here, what you can do is go down to the image that you just duplicated, you right click on it, you go to replace with clip from source monitor. Now watch what happens. If I move the cursor over it, now that second image is exactly where the first image was, and it's the same size and in the same location. And you can move it next to each other, you right click, if you hit Shift D, it'll add cross dissolve for each of them, and then when you play it back, it looks like this. Easy peasy. Now one note about this obviously works best if your images are the same size and dimension. For example, if you had one really low resolution image and one really high resolution image, and then you tried to replace it with the one from the source monitor, it would probably be a much different size on your screen. But if you have the time before you start doing your editing to kind of go in and resize your images all to the same size, this could end up saving you a lot of time in the long run. And of course, this can also work, let's say if you wanted to replace this second image here with a video clip. You could do that as well. So it's very versatile. Also works with titles if you want them to. And there you go, folks. 5 video editing shortcuts I use all the time in Premiere Pro to drastically improve my editing workflow. If you enjoyed this video, and I sure hope you did, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe. Also, if you have other shortcuts that you use in particular, leave a comment down below and help others who might be looking for more workflow enhancements. That is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.